put this in place, it can employ more than 10,000 youths per annum. Here if you put 5-star hotel, put cable car, put golf course, put zoo, you can employ so many people. These are on-top results.
Hence, Gurara Falls ceased to be a place of sacrifice.
Breathtaking, isn't it? The rich story and sight of the Gurara and Mayanka Fall are awesome to behold. Let us hope that the Zuma Rock and the waterfall stand as a huge revenue generating site for the city of Suleja and Niger State as a whole. I hope you've had an awesome time on today's edition of Our History. Our focus has been on the ancient city of Suleja. Next week is going to be a must-watch edition, so keep a date with us. Until then, I am Funke Oyeyele. Bye for now.
NTAI has gone mobile. Catch your favorite programs anywhere in the world by going to Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. Search for Vision TV UK, download and install. Then you're good to go.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
NTA International.
Most states in Nigeria usually experience heavy rainfall, which is often accompanied by flooding. The states are always in a familiar mess during rainy seasons, as many parts are submerged in flood due to a terrible drainage system, causing difficulty for motorists and residents. Evidently, Nigeria has experienced devastating floods, which affected millions of people and caused fiscal losses amounting to billions of naira. The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency is one of the agencies established under the Ministry of Water Resources by the federal government to mitigate this yearly problem. The act establishing the agency was signed into law in 2010 to, among other things, provide information on the status and trends of the nation's water resources, including its location in time and space, extent, dependability, quality, and the possibility of its utilization and control. How the agency is carrying out these mandates for the benefit of Nigerians shall be our focus in the next 25 minutes as I host the Director General of the agency, Engineer Clement Inze. My name is Kemi Fakeye. You're welcome. Let's start by talking of your agency. Part of it, the provision of services for the assessment of the water resources in Nigeria, both the surface and on the groundwater. How much of this is the agency doing?
Well, you mentioned the globally, our assignment has to do, or the mandate has to do with provision of data with regard to the surface and groundwater resources of Nigeria. Where does the water occur? What is the quantity? What is the quality? Where does this water move, whether underground? So we provide the data, we carry out studies on the water resources system in Nigeria and also the transboundary rivers that are cut across other countries, including Nigeria. The data are used for various activities you can envisage in the water sector, whether for irrigation purposes to know whether the water is adequate in a river, whether to design a dam, the data you need to do the design, whether for highways, for drainages. They talk about those who drill boreholes. Where does that water occur underground? Some Nigerians are within the coastal areas. We tell you this place is not proper for you to drill borehole. Talk about saline water issues. So it's a whole lot of things we do in terms of at the long run, all that we do is to give you data for whatever you want to do regarding water resources development in the country.
What about the preservation of the nation's water resources? How is the agency faring?
The agency provides you information as to the rate at which people are supposed to abstract or drill boreholes in some locations in the country. There are areas that are already stressed because of rapidity of abstraction, indiscriminate borehole siting or running of boreholes. So we try to sound alarm to the nation with regard to those zones in the country so that there be proper regulation. There's an agency that is on that one anyway for regulation aspects. But for that of letting you know what is available is the mandate of the agency. Then our surface waters too, the movement where you need to put your dams, where you need to put irrigation structures, what are the things that are, the options are available. Some of the things we do as an agency to be able to ensure that our water sources, is preserved, whether in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, and then duration, the number of people that need it.
Okay, how accurate are these data that you roll out, every year, especially during rainy season?
Your data can be as accurate as the measuring instrument is, as accurate as it is. Your data is as accurate as the personnel who go to harness the data. So within our limited resources, we have been able to bring out robust, accurate, and reliable data for various uses. And the challenge we have here, I must say it, is that we seem to be more interested in proffering, giving money, providing relief materials when disasters occur. We spend the billions to do that. But the agencies of government that are upstream, who are in the position to see danger when it is coming, like if I have time to talk about flooding, I'll talk about it there. Mm-hmm. We see it before it occurs. We see it and we predict it and inform the nation ahead of time. And we do it with little or nothing. But once there's a disaster, you see that the billions will be rolled out to provide the relief materials. So it shouldn't be so. There should be a balance in terms of funding the predicting agencies, those who are upstream to talk about disaster, to sound the trumpet before the time. They are equally very important when you compare to the relief agency that will go to the communities and buy trailer loads of Indomie and cement and so on.
Okay, well, that leads us to the next question. The provision of this data year in, year out, and the prediction of flooding.
Yes.
What are you doing about it? The issue of flooding, it's a recurrent thing in Nigeria, in spite of your warnings.
Now, it is a global issue. Not Nigeria, it's not the only country. It's all over the world. But these days of climate change issues, we emphasize, like we talk about climate, disaster risk reduction. We talk about reducing the reduction. We talk about resilience. We talk about adaptation. In other words, that these things have come to stay. When we are predicting, the essence of it is to warn people ahead of time so that we can reduce the impact. Instead of losing, like this year, maybe more than 200 people have died. Yeah. 2019, NEMA should have the better record. They take statistics of all those things. You can reduce the impact, loss of life, loss of property. But in terms of stopping it completely, is no.
Why not?
It is a natural phenomenon. So long as the earth remains and rainfall comes, and the ocean melting and so on and so on, iceberg and so on, rather, flood will keep occurring. Like those states in Nigeria that are within the coast, Ondo State, Lagos, Rivers, Bayelsa, and once the ice melts, they will experience coastal flooding, different from the urban flooding and river flooding. So this will continue to occur. We are only advocating for reducing the impact of it. If you tell somebody that your house is going to be carried by flood, or this place is not proper for you to build houses, you don't build it in the first instance. So there will be no loss. Or you have already built it. We tell you move away from here, at least within this social period of time of the year, maybe 3 months. You move away. Even if the building is destroyed, your life is saved.
And your property.
Yeah, yes, these are things we talk about.
Okay. Well, part of your prediction is that about 30 states of the Federation will experience acute flooding this year. Mm. How many have already faced this challenge?
In fact, what we have done is to say how many didn't face it. It was almost 34. I can't count the number now. I can't remember the exact states have gone down or experienced 1 degree of flooding or the other. It doesn't necessarily mean that the whole states were submerged or affected. But when you come to a state and you have about 2-3 local government areas, and you lose maybe 10 persons in that state within the 2 or 3 local government areas that were affected, it's something that you should be worried about. Or you lose some area like, I've wanted to say they mentioned 3,000 hectares of rice lost at Jigawa State. 3,000 hectares of land. Even if they most likely such kind of farmers may not have even ensured the agricultural, the things they planted, either with the relevant agencies or maybe NAIC, Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation, or other. But even if they were insured, but this they have lost over 3,000 hectares of farmland, rice farm, washed away. That 3,000 hectares, or those 3,000 hectares, most likely maybe more than 100 people may be involved in that practice there. They have lost the source of livelihood, even if you are paying them back.
Can never be the same.
So the more than 34 states, or at least 34, have been affected, and over 100 local government areas have been affected.
But part of the problem is the release of water from neighboring countries. This happens every year. Must we continue to face this?
You see, you will always try to secure yourself before you secure another person. Now, Nigeria is precariously located at the bottom of a basin. That's what we call Niger Basin. Niger Basin is a basin made up of 9 countries, just as a basin like this, like Washington Basin you have in your house. In it, people that are living there, 9 countries. If on your left-hand side, if you see the River Niger, where it is coming from from Nigerian map. It starts from Futajola Highlands in Guinea Conakry. It will come down to Mali. It will move down to Niger Republic, then Benin. But before reaching Benin, rivers in Burkina Faso are flowing into River Niger. Those are from Côte d'Ivoire flowing into River Niger. They are coming into Nigeria. Likewise, River Benue from Cameroon, and then Chad. So these are the 9 countries within Nigeria that form Niger Basin, with a land area of 1.5 million square kilometers, 80% of which is within a person's. 130 million people are living inside this basin of 1.5 square kilometers, with a habitat of 130 million. Nigeria having 80% of the population and 30% of the land mass. Now, Nigeria is at the bottom. So whatever is happening in all these countries will eventually move down to Nigeria. No country will allow itself. There's a dam in Cameroon we call Lado Dam.
Lado Dam.
Yeah. Now, in 2012, that's what caused more problem in Nigeria in 2012. The rainfall there was high. The dam was getting filled up. They alerted Nigeria. The highest point they will reach is 216 meters, the elevation of the reservoir. So it was moving toward that height. They informed Nigeria. We are likely to release water in a week's time, in 7 days' time. But because the height, it was attaining that height, and the reservoir, the dam, was being threatened. 3 days to, they had to open the gate. And then, that was the best that could be done professionally. If they had allowed the dam to breach, to open or even collapse, maybe reasonable percentage of Adamawa State, Kogi, Taraba, and then come down to Kogi State, with other states down to Bayelsa, would have been heavily, much more than what happened. So why must they release water? They must release the water to save their structure. That was why.
At the detriment of Nigerians.
What would they do? What if the dam fails or collapses? If the dam should have collapsed, we are talking about 400 people died in Nigeria. It may rise into millions, because the volume of that water is too much. It could cover the entire Abuja. 7.6 billion cubic meters of water should be allowed to move. So what they did was to open their gate a little. Maybe about another 3 meters of water to pass away. So you have to save yourself. Unfortunately for us as a nation, we don't have any single dam on River Benue. When they began to build their own in 1977, which they finished 82, they notified us to build our own, what you may now call a buffer dam. That if in the event of release of water like in 2012, we will block it. Whatever is coming, our own dam, about 15, more than twice the capacity of their own. From the design, we have our own is still in the design.
Let's take a short break at this point. We'll talk more about this issue of Lado Dam, because it's like it's a threat to our livelihood, and there must be a way out of it. Viewer, we'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back. The program is still stepping up, and the Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Engineer Clement Inze, is still rubbing minds with us on the program on the way out of the issue of flooding in Nigeria. Yes, now that our own dam is still work in progress.
Yes.
Or the work has not even started at all.
Yes, not yet.
So, what is the fate of Nigerians? Because Lado Dam will continue to be filled up, and Cameroon will continue to open up the gate for the water to reduce. So, what is the fate of Nigerians, especially the ones up north and the ones at the coastal areas?
I was with the Bangladesh ambassador to Nigeria some time ago. He's talking about the issue of flood, that took us there, because you know what happened in their own country. He told us that among the nations of the world, I think they are rated number 1 in terms of resilience, adaptation, That is the ability to bounce back after the effect.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear about a month or so ago that after the flood incident that happened in Jibia, local government area in Katsina, it happened July 15th, around 11 p.m. on a Sunday to Monday 16th, around 1 a.m., barely 2-hour interval of flood, rainfall that caused the flood. That is today, 1,995 persons are still away, either in the camp or yet to get somewhere to go back to. In other words, resilience. We are able to put this in place for people to, to go continue their life as if nothing had happened before. Now, with regards to the River Benue axis, as far as the River Niger is concerned, we don't really have much problem. For instance, when we got a red alert on the 31st of August this year, that Niamey, what I listed to you, the movement of River Niger, how it is coming. So the station, measuring station that is in Niamey, Niger Republic, is very critical. So once it got a certain threshold, I was called that we are at a red alert. Nigeria should be prepared. Immediately I called Kainji and Jebel dam operators. They are our colleagues who maybe talking about synergy. That this flood that was seen today, 31st of August, will be arriving Kebbi State. That's the first point. River Niger enters Nigeria from that side. And it may be getting to your dam in about, say, 3 weeks' time, or 26 or 18 days' time. Please be prepared. They know what I told them, they know what to do. So when they were informed, they opened their gates so that water will be flowing gradually, normal water to be moving. Instead of being at a high level, it kept reducing. And they watch every second to size that one that is coming. That one that was seen in Niger, in Niamey, will eventually come. So once it's getting there, they close their gates. So whoever is living downstream, Kwara State, Niger, and so on, may not even know that anything happened. But however, that release that we are doing, the water level will be building. But it won't be compared to that huge one that was coming. So some places may be flooded anyway, but the impact will not be the same thing as that one that was cited on the 21st. So now, what do we do on River Benue? Like I just tried to tell you about the River Niger side, we are a little bit safe.
Yeah.
There are several tributaries of River Benue within Nigeria that the state government could build small dams on them to be able to regulate the amount of water that moves from there into River Benue to reduce the level. It's not every year, that maybe for about more than 5 years, since 2012, Cameroon has never released water from the dam. Each rainy season, before they could attain any height that is reasonable for spilling, rain has ceased within their own country. So the flood that happened in 2018, just last year, that submerged so many places in Nigeria, didn't come from outside Nigeria. It was the local rainfall within Nigeria. And
the overflowing of the rivers?
So that's why we say, like in Adamawa, for instance, they could build small dams on Gongola River. Okay, that's what Kiri Dam on Gongola River. We have Kashibila Dam on River Kassina. These are tributary river that flow into River Benue. There's a dam there, Kashibila Dam. That one was built to checkmate any eventuality from the Lake Nyos, the poisonous lake in Cameroon, in case it will burst. But it could still be used to check what enters River Benue, since it contributes about 27% of the volume of River Benue. I mean, River Kassina contributes about 27% of the volume of River Benue. So if we regulate that one properly, it will reduce the volume that enters River Benue. Likewise, other rivers, Donga River, Taraba, River Gongo. So if we can manage what is happening in those areas, it will reduce the volume of water of River Benue. And then with adequate information as we try to give every year, and people planning, this flooding may not, if it occurs, it may not last for more than maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. it will come and find it and go away. So if with the information you are given, you can relocate, move to somewhere else and stay. Either with your relatives, state government providing camps. With the time, people will go back to their, maybe ancestral homes and stay.
Okay, in carrying out your functions, how much of collaboration do you engage in with other agencies of government and even your international partners in ensuring that Nigerians are well educated and enlightened on the way out of this yearly occurrence?
As much as possible, we have a lot of synergy with relevant organizations within and outside.
Outside Nigeria.
When they come to the area of prediction, we work not to just prediction alone, we work very closely with NIMET, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. That one is saddled with the prediction of atmospheric issues, amount of rainfall, when will it start, when will it cease. We collaborate with NEMA. We give NEMA information as regular as possible to enable them do their plans, because we tell them the hot spots to watch out. Okay. We collaborate with the NOA that has the
National
spread.
Orientation Agency.
Yes, in terms of dissemination of our information, we collaborate with them. Ministries, a lot of them, and then the states, state ministers of environment, state ministers of water resources, we collaborate with them. State emergency management agencies, we collaborate with them. Then at the international level, or even universities, we also collaborate with the Shell in Nigeria. We do certain things together. NIMASA, we do a lot of things together. So we do universities, we do that. Research institutes in Nigeria, we collaborate with them. Then at the international level, we collaborate with UNESCO, which sponsors program on hydrology, what they call International Hydrological Program. And the agency is the desk officer when it comes to that issue of activities that have to do with hydrology under UNESCO. We collaborate with the World Meteorological Organization that has a lot to do also with the hydrometry or hydrological surface water issues. International Atomic Energy Agency in Geneva, we collaborate with them. We collaborate with the Energy Commission of Nigeria, Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission. We do a lot of things together. Okay,
in all this, yes, you have spoken so much about what government needs to do, that is in terms of creation of big dams that could accumulate this water from our neighboring countries when it is being released. What roles do Nigerians have to play?
Clean yourself, clean your environment. Don't throw trash into the gutter or the drainage in front of your house. Especially when the rain is falling and flood is passing here, or runoff is passing, you sweep. It will carry it where you can it will go somewhere. People should not build the high and mighty should not go and build structures within the flood plain because they look very greenish and very attractive. You can overlooking some very beautiful scenes. No, don't build within the flood plains. Allow the natural depressions, natural channels created by God that have become more useful during the rainy season. It's how it was created. Don't go and annex it for whatever use. As state government should be able to summon the courage and the political will. Enforce regulation. We have town and urban planning departments or ministries in virtually every state. Let them summon the courage of Eurofy in Abuja and demolish structures. Like here, I learned that the Department of Development Control in Abuja had marked more than 150 houses to be demolished. So most of these estates, like Nukogoma, Galadimawa, and so on and so forth, that wreaked havoc a few months back. So these are what should be done. By that, you can avert loss of life.
This is Mambila Plateau, a place in Nigeria endowed with enormous natural resources.